The night I left home, I didn't just walk away from my parents, I walked away from everything I thought I was. Snow falling around me, no plan, no destination. Just the cold and the unknown. Here's what happened next. Everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss an incredible story like this one. The night had always held an eerie, silent power over me. There was something about the way the air turned crisp, the way the world seemed to slow down under the weight of the snow, that made it feel like time was suspended. But that night, time felt different. It wasn't suspended. It was fractured. Each second stretched into infinity. A weight pressing down on my chest, making it harder to breathe, harder to think. I had walked away from my parents' house with nothing but the clothes on my back and a heart full of turmoil. The argument had been the breaking point, the culmination of years of tension that neither of us could undo. The things we had said, well, I couldn't take them back, and they couldn't either. Once the words left our mouths, there was no way to erase them. No way to repair the damage. The snow had begun to fall earlier in the evening. Soft at first, as if the world itself were trying to ease the harshness of the moment. But now, the flakes had grown heavier, swirling in the wind, blanketing the world in a soft, silent layer of white. It felt like nature was closing in around me, as if the earth itself was trying to hide the mess I had just left behind. I walked with no destination in mind. No map, no compass. It felt like I was wandering, lost in both a literal sense and in the sense of my own identity. The weight of my decision to leave, of my decision to finally stand up to the expectations that had shaped every part of me, was crushing. And yet, there was a strange feeling of freedom, of release, tangled up in that weight. I had been suffocating under the pressure of their expectations for so long, their constant judgment of what I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to become. I had done everything they had asked me to do, followed every rule, and still, it had never been enough. I was never enough. As I walked, I kept thinking about the moment I left, the finality of it. My mother's words echoed in my mind, "Don't ever come back here." The anger and pain in her voice had been sharp, like a knife cutting through the air. But there was something else, too. Something beneath the anger. I could feel it in her voice, the hurt, the disappointment. She had given up on me. And, in some ways, I had given up on her too. I had always admired my mother's strength, her unshakable belief that she knew what was best for me. She had been my rock, my protector, the one person I had always turned to when the world felt too overwhelming. But over time, I had come to realize that the way she showed her love was stifling. It wasn't love that pushed me to become someone I wasn't. It wasn't love that demanded perfection, that turned every failure into a personal attack. It wasn't love that made me feel like a failure, even when I tried my hardest, and yet, I still loved her. Despite everything, I loved her with a part of me that wasn't ready to let go. That was the hardest part, realizing that love didn't always mean understanding. It didn't always mean acceptance. I pushed that thought away, focusing instead on the sound of my footsteps in the snow, the rhythmic crunch of my boots as they cut through the frozen ground. I had to keep moving. I couldn't let myself stop, not now. The streets were eerily empty, the usual sounds of life muted by the snow. No cars passed by. No lights flickered in the windows of the houses I walked past. The world seemed deserted, like I had walked into a place where time had stopped. I found myself in a neighborhood I didn't recognize, an unfamiliar part of town. It was strange how quickly I had wandered away from the familiarity of my childhood streets. How easy it had been to slip from one place to another without even realizing it. The buildings here were older, smaller, the kind of houses where you could tell the years had taken their toll. The paint was peeling, the windows dark, and yet, there was a quiet beauty to it. The kind of beauty that comes with age, the kind that says everything has a story to tell, if only you're willing to listen. I stopped at the corner of a street and looked up. The sky had turned a deep shade of midnight blue, and the stars above were nearly swallowed by the falling snow, hidden in the vastness of the night. I took a deep breath, feeling the cold air fill my lungs. It was sharp, biting, but it made me feel more alive than I had in ages. I hadn't realized how numb I had become, how much I had allowed myself to be swept along by the currents of my parents' expectations, by the weight of their dreams for me. Now, all of that was gone. And for the first time in a long time, I was alone, but in a way that felt like freedom. I kept walking, the snow crunching beneath my feet, my thoughts swirling in my mind. I thought about what my life had been before all of this. I had always been the dutiful daughter, the one who never rocked the boat, the one who followed the rules. I had done everything I was supposed to do. And yet, somewhere along the way, I had lost myself in the process. I had let their dreams for me become my own. I had let their version of who I was become my identity. But now, as I walked deeper into the night, the cold air stinging my cheeks, I realized something. I wasn't just running away from them. I wasn't just running away from the life I had known. I was running toward something new, toward the possibility of becoming who I was meant to be, outside of the roles they had forced me into. The path ahead was unclear, and the thought of walking it alone terrified me. But I knew I couldn't go back. I had no choice now but to keep moving forward. Hours passed as I wandered aimlessly through the streets, the snow falling thicker and faster, as if the world itself was trying to erase my past. I had no idea where I was, no idea where I was going. But somehow, that didn't matter. The act of moving forward was enough. Each step I took felt like a small victory, a rebellion against everything I had been taught to believe. Eventually, I came across a small diner. The flickering neon sign casting a soft glow in the dark. I didn't think twice before pushing open the door. Inside, the warmth hit me immediately, wrapping around me like a blanket. The smell of coffee and bacon filled the air, and for the first time that night, I felt something close to comfort. The diner was nearly empty, save for a few people sitting in booths, lost in their own worlds. I slid into a booth by the window, the frost on the glass blurring the view of the world outside. I ordered coffee, my hands shaking slightly as I wrapped them around the warm mug. As I sat there, staring out at the snow-covered world, I realized that I wasn't just running from my parents. I was running from everything I thought I knew about myself. The quiet hum of the diner, the soft clink of dishes and utensils, faded into the background as I let the warmth of the coffee seep into my bones. I had no idea what the future held. No idea where I would go, what I would do, or how I would survive. But in that moment, I knew one thing for sure: I was free. And that was enough. Outside, the snow continued to fall, soft and silent, a blanket of white that covered everything. I was no longer afraid of what lay ahead. For the first time, I was ready to face the unknown. I wasn't alone. I had myself. And for now, that was enough.